This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
Hey guys, back with another Fallout 4 video for you guys, and today we're going to be looking at another weapon from the Far Harbor DLC, and that is going to be the pole hook melee weapon. I'm going to be providing a review / analysis and give you guys an idea of whether this is something that you should use or not. And just going into this video, I'm going to say that if you are a melee player, this is not going to be the best weapon in the game. However, I think it is definitely something you may want to carry around for a couple of reasons, which we'll get into later on in the video. But let's go ahead and we will talk about all the stats, all the numbers, and everything. So let's go. All right, so the stock pole hook has a damage that can range from about 42 to 63. Now, keep in mind, this is at 4 strength with no other perks or stat boosts. And the reason I chose 4 strength is because that is the lowest strength value you can have in order to acquire the blacksmith skill, which allows you to improve your melee weapons by crafting additional attachments and weapon modifications to them. Now, the pole hook is in the same vein as like the board, the baseball bat, the sledgehammer, and what is probably my favorite of all the slow melee attack weapons, which is the super sledge. So the pole hook has a slow attack speed. The weight ranges from about 7 to 9.8 pounds, and the value in bottle caps that's listed on the item card is from 52 to 75 bottle caps. Now, in terms of raw melee damage, the pole hook is now the best melee weapon with a slow attack speed and an astounding 63 melee damage when fully upgraded. Now, according to the upgrade card, you get some armor penetration as well, which could be really useful against Mirelurks, and trust me, there are plenty of Mirelurks in this DLC. Now, in terms of overall damage, the Super Sledge is still going to be the best slow attack speed melee weapon in Fallout 4, and this is because the base damage of the Super Sledge, melee damage only, is 56, and then there's an additional energy damage component, which is 25, and that can add up to 81 damage before skills, perks, or whatever else. It is worth mentioning, though, that the pole hook weighs half of what the Super Sledge does when both are fully upgraded. The pole hook weighs 9.8 pounds, while the Super Sledge weighs 20 pounds. The Super Sledge still is worth considerably more per pound. The pole hook is about 7.5 bottle caps per pound, while the Super Sledge increases from 9 to 18 to 27 bottle caps per pound, depending on the upgrade tier you have. So the stock Super Sledge is 9 bottle caps per pound. The next upgrade up is 18. And then finally, the stun pack on the Super Sledge is 27 bottle caps per pound. Now, the pole hook, unlike the Super Sledge, has at least 2 unique pole hook variants. The first is a weapon called the Fish Catcher, which has reduced action point cost, and you can be purchasing this thing from Alan White in the town of Far Harbor, while the second is much better in my opinion, and that is the Bloodletter, which has a built-in wounding legendary weapon effect. And as far as I'm aware, again, the Super Sledge has no unique variants. Now, I went over this in a previous video, but the Bloodletter can be acquired from Cassie Dalton upon completing the Blood Tide side quest mission for the Far Harbor DLC. You can also buy non-unique variants of the pole hook from pretty much all of the weapon vendors in Far Harbor. You can get this thing from Alan White. You can get this one in Arcadia from, I believe it's DGen. And then I believe you can also get this from the Children of Adam as well. And that's going to bring us to some of our conclusions here. And I'm just going to say that while the pole hook is certainly not the best melee weapon in the game, it's still definitely worth using in my opinion, as it exceeds every other slow attack speed melee weapon in the game in terms of just raw melee damage. The raw melee damage on the Super Sledge is 56, while the fully upgraded pole hook is pulling in like 63 melee damage per swing. Also, like I was just saying earlier, it is worth mentioning that there are at least 2 unique pull hook variants. The first is that fish catcher that I was talking about that has that reduced action point cost in VATS, which is going to be really useful for you. And actually for strong attacks with the fish catcher, you're going to be using less action points on those strong attacks. However, I think the second, of course, which I also mentioned, which is that bloodletter, is going to be probably one of the ideal weapons that you're going to want if you are a melee build character, and that's because the bloodletter has that wounding legendary weapon effect. And as far as I am aware, there aren't any other weapons in Fallout 4 other than the Pikmin's Blade from the vanilla game that also have a guaranteed wounding legendary weapon effect on them. So I guess you could try to farm legendary enemies to try to get that wounding super sledge with the stun pack. However, if you want something like right now, I mean, you can just play Far Harbor, you can do the Blood Tide quest, and you can get the Bloodletter, and that's going to pretty much do the same thing, although it won't be quite as ideal. I also mentioned early on in the video that the pull hook has some armor penetration, and this thing could be useful up against Mirelurks because Mirelurks tend to have a lot of armor, and I mean, you gotta hit them a lot more. Plus, with the Bloodletter, you can get them to bleed, and I mean, you can just wreck them. And of course, this will also work really well against legendary enemies because that bleed damage continues to like stack even when their health resets after you deplete their health on some of those legendary enemies. Overall, guys, I think I recommend the pull hook, and I think you guys should look into it if you are doing a melee build, because this thing is good. It's got the highest base raw melee damage in the game. It isn't as good as the Super Sledge, but it's lighter, and I mean, pretty easy to get. Anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. As always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.